everything that's good in our lives. We praise thy holy name, Jesus. Bless us all, Lord God Almighty, in our own special ways and needs. Because you know, Lord, you know our name, our need, and you are more than able to provide. And we thank you, Jesus. Bless everyone from the national to the local courthouses, Jesus. And the decisions that they will make them in thy will, Jesus. That we will always do thy will, Jesus. We do humbly pray. Bless the sick, the suffering, the lonely, needy, the shut in, those who have lost loved ones, and the unsaved, Jesus. We do humbly pray. Again, Father in heaven, guide this meeting that we will make the right decisions for our students and our kids in the Hope County School family and this district, Jesus. We do humbly pray. Amen.
Amen. We will continue, as I put the chair's report. I would just like to say good afternoon to all of you that have attended this meeting with us. It's just a blessing and a privilege to see all our students out here tonight with us, and our parents as well. We are proud of our school, we're proud of our students, and we do what we can to show our appreciation. And many of the students, as you will see, will be highlighted tonight, which we are proud of, and not only our students, but we're also proud of our administrative staff as well, and do what we can to show our appreciation to them. And we were fortunate enough to have 2 luncheon this past 2 weeks. We've only been in school for about 2 weeks now for vacation. And we had our administrative personnel of the year, whatever our administration personnel. We had a luncheon for and administration professional personnel. And also we had it for all the year personnel as well. So we are very proud of the employees in the whole county school system for what we are doing in our administration. And whenever we can show appreciation to them, we do. So we will continue, and with the approval of our agenda that we have before us tonight, may we get an approval?
Madam Chair, I move that we approve the agenda for May 10th, 2022.
Are there any questions? If none,
Second.
you have a second, if you give a second? Okay. Are there any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Next on our agenda then is Spotlight on Success. And at this time, I will turn it over to our Superintendent, Dr. Dallas.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Madam Chair and members. This evening, we do have 2 items for Spotlight on Success. Our first item this evening is the recognition of several regional and state winners from our high school. I would like to start with our regional and state thespian festival winners. So at this time, I would like to turn it over to Ms. Anita Medina, our high school drama teacher, to share more information about the competition and to recognize our winners this evening.
Hello and good evening. I am the theater teacher here at Hope County High School, and I have 3 wonderful students with me tonight. Do you want me to bring them up?
If you want to do one at a time.
Oh, right.
Is that what you want to do?
Yeah, sure. So we have competed first at the regional level against students from Raleigh and Moore County and the surrounding areas. And then from there, they moved up to the state level where they also received superior ratings in their respective categories and are now moving to the national competition at the University of Indiana at the end of June. Woo! Can you give my hand a clap? So they've competed in 2 separate categories. The first category with Kaylin Bartlett is a costume construction. Come on down, Bartlett.
My name is Caitlin Bartlett, and I did costume construction. I made Lucy's red dress that she wears for the most of the show of Jekyll and Hyde. It's very significant to her character. It develops who she is to Jekyll and Hyde, and the colors used in it, like black and red, help develop what she means to them. And overall, it was a very fun dress to make. It was a very big learning curve for me, had a lot of things that I hadn't done before. And it was very enjoyable. I'm very lucky to have the opportunity to do these things in this team, and it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely, Laura. Yes, indeed. I'd like to present you a flag tonight. It's a Making the Grade Polk County Schools, presented to Caitlin Harley. Superior rating, costume construction at the Triangle Regional and North Carolina Festival, presented by the Polk County School Board of Education, May 10, 2020. Congratulations. Your mom here?
Yeah, Mom.
And then my other two students competed in duet acting with a scene from the Scarlet Heart. And you guys can come on down. Yeah. This is Nigeri Gomez Burgos and Alexander Alvarado. Yes. You seem nervous. You're okay.
So we acted out a comedy scene in the Scarlet Heart. It's very fun, very exciting, and we loved it. We're so happy about it, and I don't know what else.
Her character was that of a tired businesswoman at a hotel, just wanting to relax for the night, and my character was a captain who had been stripped of everything, just looking for a place to rest and seek his glorious revenge. Thank you.
All right, you know what's happening to me, Ms. Alexander. So this says superior rating, dual acting, Triangle Regional and North Carolina Thespian Festival, presented by the Polk County Board of Education, May 10th, 2022. Congratulations to you.
And there's one for you.
I love it.
Making the Grade, Polk County Schools, presented to Nigeri Gomez Burgos, superior rating, dual acting, Triangle Regional and North Carolina Thespian Festival, presented by the Polk County Board of Education, May 10th, 2022. Congratulations, we are awfully proud.
Ms. Becky, you want to join us since you presented one? I want to get a big birthday. Awesome. Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to turn your horn around to the world? Everybody, thank you. Okay, ready? Ready, 1, 2, 3. Do you want to take your mask down here? Ready, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Congratulations. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so at this time, we would like to recognize our Hope County High School drone pilots who earned gold, silver, and bronze status at the Skills USA competition. So at this time, we'd like to ask Dr. Dana Chavis, our Executive Director of CTE, and Mr. Mario Malabunda, our drone teacher at the high school, to share more information about this competition and recognize our winners.
Thank you. So I won't be as exciting as Ms. D, but, so yes, our drones class, competed recently, regionally, and then it's kind of like the state. If you win regional, then it's considered the state. And, under the leadership of Mr. Mario. But we've never had a, Skills USA organization until last year. And when Mr. Malabunga has called me and says, you know, hey, I think I want to start a chapter. And I'm like, okay, tell me what I need to do. So we started the chapter, actually he started the chapter, and then that kind of just trickles over into the next year. Then I get the phone call that says, you know, I want to take my students to state. Now I want to take them to nationals, and here we are. But Skills USA is a CTE organization in which, you know, students that are a part of our classes get to participate in different clubs, and this is just particularly one of them. And Mario, Mr. Malabunga will go in later to talk about, you know, the skill sets that our students had to participate in order to even win this state. But it is really an honor because our students actually placed in all the places that you could possibly have been placed. So, you know, I'm getting on the phone and I'm like, Mario, did anybody else participate? Like, how did our students get in all the places? And he was like, yeah, we had other schools, but we won. We're that good. They're under really good leadership. The young man that won gold actually knew Mr. Malabunga from Sandy Grove Middle School. And his name is Nathan. Nathan, if you'll come up. He is our gold. And really proud of Nathan. I didn't realize who he was until I saw him today because I met him throughout this year in my office, just casually. But had I known that you were the number one, our goal, I made it nicer to you. But yes, this is Nathan, and I don't know, Mr. Malabunga, if you want to say anything in regards to Nathan and the program.
Yes, Nathan, when he was small kid in middle school, like he was small. He was also the grand champion in Sandy Grove during our waters competition. During the he was number one also in the drone competition. So I'm really proud of him with his skills and everything that he brings for Hope County.
Congratulations, I must say to you. And this is making the grade with the Hope County Schools presented to Nathan.
Yeah.
Aponte, I said, yay! The Gold Room Pilot Skill USA Competition presented by the Hope County Board of Education, May 10th, 2022. This is yours, darling. You earned it, deserve it, and we're so proud of you. Congratulations. Well, I don't know what we'd do without our kids like this. Don't they make us proud? Someone says we have the best school district in the state of North Carolina. Give ourselves a hand with that.
Like anything, Nathan?
I mean, there's not much to say, but I would like to thank Mr. Malabunga. I've known him since middle school, since 6th grade, and he's taught me everything I knew, and I wouldn't have been able to do without the amazing teaching.
Next we have our silver. And this is Shaquille. Yeah.
Shaq, he's also one of my best students in my class, and just to tell you guys, whenever I'm discussing or lecturing in front of the class, he would be the one videoing me with the phone. And his friends tell me at night, he would study my lectures and every day. And I'm not surprised that he got silver and all the awards for our class. He's really a hardworking student, not just in my class, in all the sub classes too. He's really a good, so congratulations.
I would like to thank Mr. Malabunga for teaching me everything I had to know for drone and helping us during the competition. We wouldn't be able to do really well without him. And I would also like to thank my parents, my family for helping me become a better person and improving myself.
I would like to say congratulations and also to the parents. If it wasn't for them, you wouldn't be here. Making the grade, Hope County Schools, presented to Shaquille Rodriguez Ramos. All right. Civil Drone Pilot Skills USA Competition, presented by the Hope County School Board of Education, May 10th, 2022. Congratulations.
And we have have one more. We have our bronze, and this is Jonah. Come on, Jonah.
Yeah, Jonah is one of my best students also in my class, and he's a quiet one, but he's very committed. I remember he told me that he wanted to do this, and I see that he really wanted to do this competition here. And all the effort that he made paid off now. We got the top 3, and our students will be going to Atlanta, Georgia to represent North Carolina again. So, back to back, we're going to represent North Carolina for the competition. Congratulations.
And I would like to present this, Making the Grade, Hope County Schools, presented to Jonah Olson. Bronze pilot, the drone pilot skills USA competition, presented by the Hope County Board of Education, May 10th, 2022. Congratulations.
I'm truly honored to get third place, even though it's not high up, but it's still something. I would like to thank my mother, my father, who can't be here today because of the tight schedule, and Mr. Mario for teaching me everything. I would also like to thank or give high praise to Shaquille and Nathan, who I truly don't know two people more deserving of those awards and of those places. They truly work hard. And thank you.
We'll do the big group picture first.
Come on, Bill.
We'll do the group picture and I'll. Show us. Everybody here. So we're gonna do. Okay, look right here, ready, 1, 2, 3. Okay, great, thanks.
All right.
Outstanding work, outstanding work. Okay, our second item for Spotlight on Success is our artwork that is displayed at the Board of Education. This month's display is by Hawkeye Elementary School. So if you get a chance to stop by and look at that display. So Madam Chair and members, that does conclude all of our Spotlight on Success items for this evening.
Let's give our students one more big round of applause. Really appreciate that. So next on the agenda is public comment. I will turn it over to the board attorney, Mrs. Murphy.
Just one moment.
We have 4 individuals who have signed up for public comment. I want to remind people that members of the public are invited to speak once each month at our regularly scheduled meeting. Everyone will be limited to 3 minutes. I'll be the timekeeper for you. And board members will not respond to or address speakers' comments regarding particular individual employees, student records, or other matters which are required to be kept confidential may not be discussed in this open forum. All comments must be respectful and civil per ordinary rules of order and decorum. And first on our list is Mr. Jeremiah Goodmaster.
Good evening. Make it short, sweet from the last one. So last meeting, I talked about the board of commissioners at the NAACP meeting, blaming this board for the lack of incentives for the teachers. We disagree with that. We believe the commissioners themselves are failing to give the school board the adequate funding for incentives. And we request that the school board request the commissioners to meet dollar for dollar the either Cumberland County or Moore County incentive program and make them put the money where their mouth is. So our teachers deserve better.
We now have next up is Mr. Eric Hatch.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, and fellow citizens. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak this evening. I am Eric Hatch, and my son is a student at Upchurch Elementary School. We are new to the area and just moved here from El Paso, Texas in December. My son started school here in January. When I enrolled him in school here, I was very disappointed with how restrictive the district is with regard to allowing visitors, especially parents, into the school buildings. As I attempted to enroll him, I was met at the front door of the school by an administrator who denied me entrance and handed me a 30-page packet to fill out. I had to go back to my car in the parking lot to fill out the paperwork, which prevented me from being able to ask any questions that I had. This was my first impression of the school district. In Texas, where I came from, and even in El Paso, which has been the most restricted, more restrictive than other parts of the state, I was allowed inside the school once students returned to in-person learning over a year ago. Parents were permitted to attend the open house last August, and I walked with my son to his classroom on his first day of school, which has been a tradition in our family since he was in pre-K and was encouraged at all local schools there, both before and during COVID. Either myself or my wife saw my son's teacher almost every day after pickup, and the communication lines were always open. In the past 4 months, since my son has been enrolled here, I've never met his teacher face to face. I have never seen his classroom, and I've never set foot inside his school. This is, of course, no fault to his teacher, but the policy in place that restricts all visitors, including parents, from entering school buildings. It is disappointing to me as a parent because I would like to be more involved in school activities and events. I would like to have in-person parent-teacher conferences with his teacher and not do so on Zoom. I would like to attend in-person, not virtual talent shows and other events. I can't speak for all parents or all other parents, but I have spoken to many in the past 4 months, and those I spoke with share my concerns. I understand the safety and health protocols of not allowing random visitors in the buildings. However, if my child is deemed healthy enough to enter his school, then comes home and spends all evening in close contact with myself and other family members, and then returns to school the following day, then from a health perspective, not to mention a common sense perspective, that is no different than me visiting his classroom. The risk level would essentially be the same. I ask that the school board consider my request and reopen the schools here to visitors, or at a minimum to parents and family members of students. Thank you very much for your time.
Next up, we have Mr. Ruben Castellan.
Good evening. Good evening. It's so wonderful to see all of you, mainly without masks. Y'all should smile more often. I'm Ruben Castellan. There you go. I'm Ruben Castellan. You guys, everybody has seen me here before, because of the time, I'm gonna go ahead and bypass all the greetings. But what I got to say is very simple. This is basically me talking to many parents through the course of since January, and we have some concerns regarding what's going on right now. We don't necessarily approve of the project that we are with the school system is currently involved as far as the infrastructure for the attaching to the current high school. Just about a week, maybe, I attended a candidate forum town hall meeting. And I learned that the decision was based on here, and I've heard back and forward that it's the county commissioners, it's the board members, but I heard it firsthand from the county commissioners, the incumbents, that it was basically the decision was made here. Basically what I would like to do is just ask you this question. Where was this an announcement for a committee to involve the taxpayers, to involve the parents concerning a new high school? I mean, we have to address the elephant in the room. We need a new high school. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. We need a new high school. You know, if we get a new high school, we could potentially concentrate in 2 different areas. We can have the current high school that we have and continue with the CTO program, build on that program, and we can potentially put the STEM program in the new high school. Okay, we have what is called parent choice. We're not a big county, but we are growing exponentially. We're bursting at the seams. You drive around everywhere and there's houses being built everywhere. Okay, so we need to we ask you as concerned citizens and parents, that we need to step outside the box and build a new high school for the future, because we're not doing a service to our students. We're getting more citizens moving into the county, because it is one of the best counties to live in the county. But we can't say that it's the best school district. Of course, I'm not including Rockfish Church, Rockfish Elementary, okay? Just saying that, okay? Chapter, the chapter schools, we spend over $300,000, I think, a year, so students can go to chapter schools out of the county. We could potentially bring these students back. Anyways, I'm Ruben Castellon. Thank you for your time, and just remember this: students first and parents always. We need to keep that in mind.
Our final speaker is Larry Lawson.
Jason.
Jason, thank you.
Fellow board members, Madam Superintendent, citizens of Hope County. I'm Larry Chason, and I hadn't been in this room since 1977. And I'm ashamed to say this is my first time being at a Board of Education. I'm a member of the Community Rockfish Board. I have a major concern. We need a school. Our community is growing leaps and bounds. They're crowding up. They built the school, Rockfish Hook Elementary. You got buildings behind. Somebody didn't prepare for the future. Not pointing the fingers. But there's a need there. And I would appreciate if y'all would take consideration the fastest growing community in Hope County, probably North Carolina. Born and raised there. Got 9 new subdivisions, 9. How many of you board members have seen those subdivisions? You've been all 9. Okay, here's what I'm gonna say. I'd appreciate it if y'all would take in consideration. And remember Rockfish. One final thing, I know I'm running out of time. School buses are still running the roads at 6 o'clock in the morning. I used to drive them. I had a superintendent to jump on my bus and told me, said somebody had told him that I was taking too much time. They're still on the bus at 10 minutes after 6, picking up students and busing them to Rayford. I appreciate your concern, but I appreciate your professionalism, what you're doing for education, but I'll leave you with this. The best is yet to come for Hope County Schools. Thank you. God bless you.
Again, the public comment.
Next on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda that we have.
Madam Chair, make a motion that we approve the consent agenda.
May we get a second, please?
Second.
Are there any questions? If there are no questions, okay, you've heard the motion and the second. All in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed is nay. Ayes have it. Consent agenda been approved. Going forward, the next item we have is our action item. I will turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Dallas, at this time.
So good evening, everyone. As we are all aware, each month we are required under Senate Bill 654 to review our face mask policy for the district. So just to kind of share where we are at, last week in the district, we did have, I believe, 17 new cases between staff and students. In the week prior, we did have some cases. So as you're looking at April 4th from the far left, we didn't have any that week. So you are seeing a slight uptick of our numbers, which means we still really want to remain vigilant with what we do day to day. So our face mask policy that was put into place March 10th basically does make face coverings still optional in all Hope County Schools buildings and on school transportation. That's for all students and staff. They are not required when outdoors or during any extracurricular activities. And as always, we do have students who attend Sand Hills Community College, and we always ask them to adhere to whatever guidance they have at the time. So we do continue with our mitigation strategies. We try to adhere to physical distancing when possible, voluntary masking. We do continue with our daily sanitizing and cleaning protocols, always encouraging hand washing. We encourage our screening and testing programs. We have masks available on school buses and in buildings for any student or staff who would like to have one. And like we said last time, as the weather gets a little bit nicer, we can increase ventilation when possible on our buses. Okay, so at this time, if we have any questions or any recommendations to amend our face covering policy, we can discuss that at this time. Okay, with no questions, at this time I am asking for approval to continue our current face covering policy, which does indicate optional masking in all Hope County Schools buildings and campuses and on all transportation.
Madam Chair, I make a motion.
So forward, you have heard the recommendation for our superintendent to approve the policy that she has just given to us. Maybe get a motion at this time.
Madam Chair, I make a motion that we approve action item number 1, masking policy.
Get a second.
Second.
It's been moved and second that we approve policy given by our superintendent. All in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. Been approved.
Thank you. Okay, our action item number 2 includes our supplemental funds for employee compensation. Last month, we did share a presentation on these funds. And hopefully we've had a chance to review and ask any questions. So at this time, we're going to ask Ms. Lanae Chavis, our Chief Finance Officer, to please review this information again, and she will be available to answer any questions.
Good evening.
Good evening.
As we presented last month for information, the supplemental funds for employee compensation for state and what we're calling enhancement supplement, state supplement, enhancement supplement. First, we have to remember we had the first one, which was PRC 071, which is the state supplement. It's the supplemental funds for teacher compensation. So this particular supplement was passed by the General Assembly, and it's reoccurring for 2021, 22, 22, 23, and it's specifically for classroom teachers and instructional support that are school-based. And again, here were the requirements for this particular supplement. It was the responsibility of the board to decide who would be eligible for the supplement, and when we looked at it, we said all of our teachers would be eligible. We didn't distinguish between who would not get it as far as a particular group, because you could actually have said, this is just for our EC teachers or just for our core teachers, but we looked at all teachers. Now with the funds that the state gave us, the only thing they said is we could not pay pre-K teachers with this fund. So we looked and determined how we were going to distribute the funds. And then we looked at the amount that we were given to see how much we could give each teacher. And it's to be treated as salary and subject to retirement. We could determine how we wanted to pay it, if we wanted to pay it monthly, annually, biannually. So we as a district said we would pay it one time at the end of the year on June 24th, I think is our date. I'm trying to remember exactly. And of course, it said you weren't restricted. We could pay our Title I teachers out of it, but the only restriction was we couldn't pay our pre-K teachers. So like I said, who is eligible? All certified teachers and certified instructional support who are working and coding to a school. And then our criteria is they must still be employed on June 1st. How much would they be receiving? The maximum amount they will receive is $1,880, and we're going to prorate it based on the number of days they were employed. And of course, when will it be paid? It'll be paid in June. And we're going to do direct deposit. So with all of the employees that weren't included in this, we're going to offer what we call an enhancement supplement. This did not come from the state, so we found funds to provide this supplement for the teachers who were not included and instructional support that were not included in the previous supplement. This will be a one-time enhancement supplement for everybody else. And of course, we determined how we were going to distribute the funds and who qualified. And like I said, it will be non-recurring unless we find funds next year, but we found the funds this year to provide this enhancement supplement. And we're going to treat it also as salary and be subject to retirement. Who is eligible? All certified and classified staff who were not impacted by the state supplement mentioned earlier and receive a local supplement and employed on June 1st. So if they receive our local supplement that we normally provide in May, they will be eligible for this supplement and they must still be employed on June 1st. What is the amount for our certified full-time? We're going to match the $1,880 as previously described in the state supplement. For non-certified full-time, it would be $900. Certified part-time would be $940, and non-certified part-time would be $450. And also, again, we would prorate it on the number of days of employment, and it would be paid the same time as the other supplement. Any questions on our supplement? Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. So on the non-recurring supplement, are we going to, because the state gave us the one that's recurring for the other teachers?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Are we gonna reach out to them, or are we gonna try to find something like next year for?
When you say reach out to the state?
Yeah.
The state will not provide anything as far as a supplement for non-certified personnel.
Okay, so are we gonna try to?
For next year?
Yeah.
We will try and look, I can't guarantee. There's so many variables for next year. First, we have to wait on our budget from the General Assembly.
Right.
And then fortunately for us this year, we've been able to, money that didn't have to be expended because of teacher vacancies and other things, we saved in pocket money. Yes. So we were able to find it for this. This one, the non-certified supplement is approximately $700,000.
Thank you.
Okay, Barbara, you have a statement you want to make?
Yes. I appreciate what Ms. McAllister-McCray just said. And because I know if next year we can't find the money for the rest, it's gonna be a lot of hurt feelings and people feeling like they were being cheated. But for this year, and I'm only gonna focus on this year, I wanna say thank you to the superintendent, thank you to Ms. Chavis and everybody who was involved in finding the money this year. Because somehow the state doesn't realize that it takes all of these people to make the school run. They apparently just think it takes the teachers. So I am very grateful to those of you who worked and went and found the money for this year. And I will be praying that you'll find it for next year. But thank you for what you did this year.
Good job. Good job. Any other questions?
Okay, so without any other questions, at this time, I am asking for approval of the supplemental funds for employee compensation plan.
You've heard the request from our superintendent for approval for the supplementary funds for employees' compensation. Are there any questions? If no question, may we get a motion?
Madam Chair, I'm going to approve the supplemental funds for teachers' compensation plan.
May we get a second?
Second.
It's been moved in second that we approve requests given to us by our superintendent. All in favor, let it be known by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it, plan been approved.
Thank you.
So thank you, Madam Chair and members. That does conclude our action items for this evening.
So next we have administration, and I would turn it back over to our superintendent.
Okay, so this evening we have 4 information items. Information item A is an update on COVID-19 in our K-12 testing program. Let me ask Dr. Peggy Owens, our Executive Director of Student Support Services, to speak to that, please.
Madam Chair, Madam Superintendent, and members of the board, good evening.
Good evening.
We're going to provide you a brief update with COVID-19 and our COVID K-12 testing program. Next slide. As Dr. Dallas has already shared with you, I'm going to take a look at our So she already shared with you about the uptick that we've seen in the district. And so the next slide that we wanted to refer you, you're okay.
I'm good there?
Go, yeah.
Back here?
Yes, you're good. So in terms of, we are seeing an uptick. We have seen an uptick, and that mirrors what we're seeing throughout the state. But also with these mirrors, we just go back before we get those. I just want them to see. So we shared with you on last week the dashboard, and these are the key indicators that the state is referencing now. These areas in terms that we're looking at vaccination, the respiratory virus surveillance, so forth and so on. So if you just continue down, just scroll down, Mary, please. So, okay, so our early warning indicators. So these are the key indicators that the state is paying attention to now when we look at wastewater, and they're looking at the virus particles that's found in wastewater is one of the first indicators. Then secondly, they're looking at the number of ER or the emergency room visits in terms of how many people are coming to the emergency room with COVID symptoms. And also the health system in terms of our capacity, in terms of what the hospitals are actually able to hold in terms of the number of individuals. Just scroll down. So those are the primary indicators. So now if you take a look at the map, Meredith, if you would go to Hope County, you can find us there. So you can see here for us Hope County in terms of okay, so what we have up the front is the state in terms of the number of persons who have actually been boosted. And then if you notice in Hope County, you can look at our numbers and you see the number of persons who have been vaccinated with 1 booster. So, you know, we are still coming along, but we're encouraging individuals to still get vaccinated and to get boosted, because those are the key prevention measures as we continue to navigate in COVID. And this is a graph of the variant. Of course, what has been shared with us, you know, we're just looking, the variant is changing, so we're looking at pretty much B2 is what we see there in the pink. You can scroll down. And then for us, CDC, so CDC just refers us on to, you can go to CDC website and look at the community level. So if you look at the state of North Carolina, you can see that all of our counties, with the exception of 1, that we're at low risk. So what does that mean and what do we need to do? So we can come out and go back to my PowerPoint slide. So we go to low risk. Okay, So for us individuals, an individual household, these are some strategies or some measures that individuals can utilize in terms of prevention measures. And as we've already said, in terms of getting vaccinated, the vaccine and boosters, ventilation is a key, and then CDC has other recommendations. I'm not going to read all of it to you, but I do want you to see these are the strategies for the household. The next slide. This next slide indicates those prevention strategies for the community, and also those strategies that we would utilize as well within our school system. So that brings us to our COVID-19 testing program, as I shared with you on last week, and in terms of where we are. So we want to just kind of take a look so that you can see where we are with our testing.
I think it logged me
It's
out.
gonna go to, click overview, go to overview. See if it will log you. Scroll down. Okay, there we go. All right there. So for our testing, since we've started, we have tested 156 individuals, and that includes students as well as employees. And of course, with that testing, that has proven to be very good. In fact, last week, after we had a little uptick, we had more people interested in getting tested. So we will continue with our testing. Mako is our vendor. And Mary, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. I'll just kind of talk through it. I just want you guys to see that platform. But Mako is our vendor. We do, they have a team that come in on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. We are still doing marketing in terms of promoting the program, because that is the key in terms of getting people tested as a prevention measure. So that's tending to work out very well for us. So again, when we talk about next steps and the things that we're doing here in the county, you can see in our school system, you can see the diagram, and testing is number one for us. And we're still promoting vaccination and getting boosted as well, along with our education. And then finally, we just want to leave this quote with you. No matter how many challenges we face, a positive attitude is one of the keys to success in life. And that's by Amy Finn. You have any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm gonna forget the question. You know, because we've seen an uptick and people now are starting or wanting to get tested, how many people that got tested do you know had COVID?
From our testing, currently we have not had any positives through ours.
Okay.
Now, what does that do? That uptick, those were individuals who either they home tested because they had symptoms in terms of our employees and students, or the parents notified us, but none of those were through our testing program in terms of testing positive. They reported that they had tested positive.
Okay, so how many reports of testing positive do you have?
From our testing program?
I was thinking the uptick came from the, I was thinking that we became an uptick that they tested in our program, but if they tested at home even,
okay,
how many reported positive?
Okay, so Mary, you want to go back to the slide? Last week we had a total of 17 total between students and teachers.
Reporting
that they tested, that was tested positive.
Okay.
But those individuals were not tested in our testing program.
Right, they just was home.
Yes, ma'am, they reported, yes. But what happened at in one of the buildings is that after one of the individuals tested positive, that increased the number of people who registered to get tested, which is a very positive thing because people are thinking prevention.
Exactly.
Right.
Okay.
And so we want to be able to increase the number of individuals that's registering to be tested.
One more question. What is the suggested, times to get boosted? How many times you supposed to get boosted?
Well, now, they are telling us now that it's 4 to 5 months after your last booster. Now, boosters are available at Hope County Health Department, but you have to call and schedule an appointment.
Okay.
But that second booster is available.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're not going to no third booster, no fourth booster?
Well, we can't say that. We can't say that because one of the things is that the variant is changing. Okay, but there is some research in now, on other.
I have a question. Do you have a percentage of the people that test at home that report that they have COVID? Or, I mean, I'm just asking because you have home tests now and people are doing tests at home, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people probably have it and just not report it. Do you have a percentage of the people that call in and say, I took a home test?
Well, the nurses track the data that's reported to them. And those are the numbers. For example, what I can tell you that from one of the schools, through our employees, okay, that person tested positive with a home test, but the person also needed to have a PCR in order to confirm that. Yes, ma'am, but what they report to us in this case, if it comes through our testing program, we'll have that data as well.
And one more question.
Self-reporting.
Okay, self-reporting, okay. Just one more question. Have it been reported that there's some type of virus out now? But they don't have COVID, but they have all the signs of COVID, because I know it's running rapid in Robeson County.
Yes, and we are seeing some.
Okay.
And, it's reported as a virus. It's more like a stomach flu,
Yes.
that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yes. Any other questions? Thank you.
Okay, so information item B is an overview of our Hope County Literacy Intervention Plan. Our district does continue to focus on learning recovery with a strong emphasis on literacy. So at this time, I'll ask Ms. Wanda Usry, our elementary curriculum coordinator, to share an overview of our plan.
Good evening. I am very excited to share with you some information tonight about our literacy intervention plan. This plan was put together as a requirement for Senate Bill 387. And we are continuing to work on this plan, and so I'd like to share some information with you. So let's start out by understanding what a literacy intervention plan is. Basically, it incorporates instructional programming based on the science of reading that the teacher will use to provide daily reading instruction. It addresses instructional practices for the areas of phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocabulary, and comprehension. It expects problem-solving strategies if students are not progressing. It also outlines a plan of action for the type of additional instructional services and interventions the student will receive if needed. It also contains methods of progress monitoring that will be continually monitored and evaluated. So why would a district create a literacy intervention plan? Well, it keeps us organized, it's an organizational piece, and it is also for accountability. It keeps the consistency across the district with expectations for literacy instruction. It's aligned with our MTSS, or our multi-tiered system of support, and it also meets North Carolina Senate Bill 387. It ensures that all students receive the literacy instruction needed for proficiency and growth. So basically, there are 3 levels of support in our literacy intervention plan. Tier 1 is the core instruction. That is where the majority of our students remain with good, strong core instruction in literacy. 80 to 90% of our students will respond to that. And basically what Tier 1 core instruction is high quality, research-based instruction. It's rigorous, it's relevant, and it's standards driven. Tier 2 instruction is targeted level. It's still based on standards in our curriculum, and it also adds in supplemental instruction. Remediation of specific skills or concepts is given to students as needed. Individualized interventions are differentiated, scaffolded, and targeted to each student. If needed, there is Tier 3 intensive level intervention. That's individualized, it's more intensive. It is intended to be skill specific in small group or outside the instructional classroom. So how do we determine what students need? In our literacy intervention plan, we outline the universal screening methods that we use. Universal screening is basically the practice of screening all students at the beginning, middle, and end of the school year to determine the effectiveness of our core instruction, as well as to determine groups of students who may potentially experience reading difficulties. In the previous slide, we talked about the 3 levels of support. Students can move in and out of these levels as their needs are met. And these are questions that we ask in order to determine what needs the students have. How do we determine if our core instruction is effective for our population? How do we determine if students are at risk? How do we address risk, core, supplemental, or intensive support? How do we determine if our interventions and intervention systems are effective? And how do we determine whether or not the interventions are progressing? So what is this core instruction that we talk about and address in our intervention plan? Tier 1 is basically for everybody. Everybody receives rigorous instruction that is standards-based. We love to use the acronym ICE. It addresses 3 pieces of our literacy framework. First of all, is the instruction, that is student engagement, the methods that we're providing feedback, and opportunities for practice. Then there's the curriculum, materials and resources that we're using, scope and sequence of the delivery, the lesson sequence, and the skills and standards addressed. And then also, and very important, is the environment. We include daily instructional schedules, the time, the physical environment, and classroom routines. So core is ICE. Tier 2 and Tier 3 levels of support are intentional strategies that we use to facilitate reading development, and we remediate emerging difficulty with reading development. In other words, we want to help as soon as possible, and students can move in and out of these tiers as needed. What do we use in this type of instruction? We use research-based materials with proven results. A common time in our schedule in Hope County Schools, master schedule, is allocated across grade levels for the delivery of these interventions. The time is staggered across the day to allow specialists, interventionists to deliver interventions throughout the day. Students not requiring interventions receive strategic enrichment and remediation of the content standards. So what are our current and next steps with our literacy intervention plan? First of all, our literacy plan was reviewed by the state of North Carolina, NCDPI, and we did receive constructive feedback. So at this time, we're meeting with our team and we are reviewing that feedback and we are responding accordingly. We are in the process right now of planning our reading summer camp for grades 1st through 3rd. We are developing letters training and scheduling for targeted district staff in the fall. Letters training will also be provided for new teachers next year. So this is an ongoing sustainability program that we're putting together. We have some collaboration with secondary. We're very excited about to develop a vertical literacy plan for grades K through 12. We also are in the process of the adoption process of a research-based reading core program that we plan to implement and train for in the fall of 2022. District and school level professional development will continue to occur in current NCELA standards. We are restructuring the K-5 ELA pacing guide to align with the science of reading research and the evaluation and alignment of our current literacy framework. We will continue to work diligently with our intervention and instructional coaches, and we will continue to provide professional development for strategies in the classroom. I love this quote, "Reading is the gateway for children that makes all other learning possible." And that was spoken eloquently by Barack Obama. And are there any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Esserin. Okay, information item C is a presentation on our building engineers in the elementary program. At this time, Ms. Alfred Hammond will present and share this program.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. As Dr. Dallas said, my name is AJ Hammond. I'm the director of Pre-K-5, and I'm super excited to be before you tonight to discuss the Building Engineers in K-5 Classrooms initiative. So this is an initiative that was brought upon between NCDPI and SERS. The goal of this project is to spread high-quality STEM programs throughout North Carolina elementary schools, focused on utilizing the engineering design process in daily instruction. So a lot of times when we think about STEM or engineering, what is the first thing that comes to mind? I tell you, robotics. We always think robotics, right? That's the first thing we think about because we do so well with that in Hope County. But it goes beyond that. I saw on Twitter, thank you, Meredith, that today was signing day for some of our high school kids. And I thought to myself, that is exactly what we're preparing students for. We're preparing students to be future ready. And the skills students will learn through this initiative will help them be successful as they move forward in their careers, whatever pathway they decide to move forward in. So this just gives an overview of the initiative. Back in February, I think it was, we received information, it was sent out about this initiative, and LEAs were able to apply for this to become a part of cohort 1. Hope County applied and we were granted rights to be a part of cohort 1. So we are joining 8 other LEAs from 6 regions in our quest to develop a 2-year plan to help us roll this initiative out. We had the opportunity over spring break to attend their annual conference in Moore County, and that gave us the opportunity to sit with representatives and district leaders from other LEAs to really talk about this plan, to really talk about STEM and engineering in our schools and how we can lay that foundation in the elementary schools. It starts in K-5. We do lay that foundation. So this just gives an outline of the timeline. In March, we had our first planning meeting with Steve Johnson. He came out and he sat with us, and we were able to evaluate Hope County. Where are we and where are we trying to go as it relates to STEM, as it relates to engineering? Again, on April 19th, we attended the conference, and that gave us the opportunity to collaborate and start working on our plan. And now we're in the preparation stage. So we're working on our plan. Actually, on Monday, we have a planning meeting scheduled. We're going to sit down and start finalizing our 2-year plan with the hopes of implementation fall of 2022. So this is our BE squared ST team, our best team, and Ms. Hutchins wanted me to make sure I spelled it out for you guys. She's really excited about that square part. But this is our team. She was really adamant about making sure we had a diverse group of educators. We have administrators, we have teachers, we have district leaders on this team, and this is the team that is working to create the plan, the 2-year plan for Hope County Schools. So our plan, it requires us to begin with our statement of purpose. Like, what is our purpose? What are we doing? And this is our statement of purpose. In an effort to ensure all Hope County school students have interest in and access to STEM career pathways. So I'm going to stop there and say, although this is a K-5 initiative, it's a K-12 plan, right? So as we're developing the plan, we're taking 6 through 12 into consideration. An intentional focus on high-quality STEM practices in grades K-5 is essential. So along with our statement of purpose, we also have our goals. Go to the next slide. So we have 2 goals that are outlined in our plan. And what we did was we sat down as a team, and this year we're doing a great job with evaluating our strategic plan and how is everything aligned to our strategic plan. And so we said to ourselves, where does this fit into our strategic plan? So our first goal is spread high quality STEM practices throughout grades K-5 to improve teacher practices and ignite student interest in available STEM pathways. So that was a great conversation. It's all about how do we prepare teachers, so that they can prepare students. So that part alone, as we go through our plan, we're having a lot of conversation about what can we do to prepare teachers, because a lot of times it's not that they don't want to do, they don't know how. Like, what do I use? How do I include this? Where does this fit? Does it fit with science? Does it fit with ELA? So we've been having some great conversation about that. And then goal 2, intentionally convert student interest in STEM careers to their engagement in available STEM pathways in grades 6-12. So again, although this is a K-5 initiative, we're focusing on the foundation. Ultimately, it's going to impact what happens to those students 6-12. And we recognize that this connected to our priority goal 1, student success. As we were going through the plan, we looked through our strategic plan and we were like, oh, it could fit here, it could go here, it could go here, it could go everywhere, because it's all about student success. But we finalized it with priority goal 1, student success, and goal 1, provide multiple pathways for students to become future ready. And that key word, future ready, those 2 words, is really the driving force of what we're doing. So this is just a draft outline of our plan. Again, you see it has our statement of purpose there, our goals are there, but then our 4 categories are there. As we're doing this work, these are the 4 things that we're focusing on. High quality STEM in grades K-5, of course. STEM pathways in grades 6-12. Coaching and PD efforts to support in K-5. When we talk about coaching and PD, we're talking about everyone, our teachers, our administrators, because as we're going through this plan, we're realizing that this is going to be a mindset. We're going to have to change the mindset and the way we do business each and every day to ensure that we're providing students with these opportunities. And then our resources and materials, what do we have and what do we need? So this is our draft, and again, on May 16th, actually Monday, we're going to continue working on this plan with the hopes of finalizing it. So this work began in Moore County. Steve Johnson, he actually worked in Moore County, and they began this work, and the conference is held there every year. And these are just some primary observed outcomes that they kind of developed or discussed as they continued this work in Moore County. And the first one is increase STEM access and equity for traditionally marginalized students. So what is that saying? What are we saying there? Hands-on problem solving uncovers new leaders in classrooms. We always talk about their strengths and weaknesses. We all have strengths and weaknesses, right? I may not be great in reading, I may not be great in math, but when it comes to STEM, I may be a leader. I may be able to problem solve. So being able to uncover new leaders in the classroom. It demystifies and makes real a wide variety of college career pathways and intentional local links to bridge the gap between interest and college and career. So sometimes students, if we don't expose them to things, they don't know what they're interested in. So we have to make sure that we're providing them with that exposure. And then the second one, outcome, goes to the next slide. Sorry. And then the second on practical and engaging way to build toward the profile of the modern graduate. So I keep going back to that word. Again, it's a K-5 plan, but you see the word graduate there. We're focusing on all students. So this provides a roadmap to the how for teachers and staff. We've been talking about lesson planning. How can we incorporate this into what we do each and every day? How can we support teachers moving forward? How can we support administrators? This work must start in kindergarten. So we're starting in kindergarten because we recognize that when you think about STEM and when you think about engineering, some of the things just simply related to problem solving. Kindergarten kids can do that. I see them all the time working their parents' iPhones and iPads, and they can work it better than the parents. So these are things that we can start in kindergarten. This work requires the 4 C's. Collaborative problem solving as a class norm. So I think this is a great conversation we had. Kids don't know how to problem solve anymore. They don't know how to collaborate well, and we have to teach them that. Then that growth mindset, a how-to, failure truly seen as a stepping stone. And I know for myself, I don't want to see him, I use my nephew as an example. I don't want to see him fail. I want to help him with everything. But failure helps us grow, right? And so we have to allow kids to be able to fail and make mistakes so that they can see the mistakes and problem solve. And then early and age-appropriate development of soft skills, and I think they call them durable skills now, but developing those skills in students at an early age. On the next slide, they also gave some outcomes at the secondary level, positive impacts on teacher practice beyond the lessons, shifts in teacher perspectives regarding traditionally marginalized students, teacher and admin leadership development, increase in interest in CTE pathways, and there they give the numbers that of their increase there. And then it places a healthy tension on the 6-12 practices in a similar fashion. So what are our next steps? So we've had our training, we've gone to the conference, and now we have to finalize our plan. So our team will be coming together to finalize our plan for our next planning meeting. And then what we have to do is present that plan to Steve Johnson and his team on May 26th. They are offering a summer teacher PD. The date is to be determined, but it's going to allow teachers from our district to go and interact and plan with teachers from other LEAs that are a part of this cohort as well. And then our pacing guide work. This summer we're doing a lot of work with all of our pacing guides, but as we're thinking about our science curriculum, how can we embed engineering lessons into the pacing guide so that teachers have what they need at their fingertips? And then EIE training, Ms. Hutchinson couldn't be here tonight because she's actually at the training right now, but engineering is everywhere. Engineering is elementary, so that training and being able to provide that training to our team and teachers and leaders and everyone. And then just resources below are 2 books that we've already purchased to provide to elementary schools that provides lessons. It's called Picture Perfect STEM for K2 and then 3-5. But providing them with those resources and things to help them along as they are working to incorporate engineering and STEM into what they do each and every day. So our next slide is just about questions, but I do want to say that, I'm really enjoying working on this team. When I think about Hope County schools, and we're always progressing, we're always moving forward, and, kids are at the forefront of what we do each and every day. And our goal is to build students to be future ready, and this is going to be a part of that, preparing students for that next step, but we must understand that it does start at that foundational level. And this will help us start that in kindergarten. Any questions?
I don't have a question, but I want to say, and I think Dr. Dallas, you were there when our department chair of engineering at Spitler, he does a engineering and sort of big festival every year, and we were on Easter break when all of Moore County students that was interested in that program came to Sand Hills, and they were out in what graduation is known as. They were out there, and then some students were in Blue Hall, where my office is, with the drones, and so, but students were doing different things. And I asked them, why is it I don't see Hope County here, you know, you guys are our feeder school.
Right.
And he was like, you know, somebody was supposed to get in touch with somebody or whatever. Anyway, my point is, I would like to see, once you get everything together, once everything is settled, I would like to see us be a part of that, because I think that, you know, the imagination of students, it'll go, you know. And so, and he agreed, because of course I asked him about, you know, the questions, and, well, I don't understand this, and I don't understand that, and he was like, well, Rosa, if you're able to, you know, we can do this, but he said that before, and I don't know if we followed through.
Well, I could be a scheduling piece too.
It could be a
Spring
schedule,
break might
because it was a
not be-
spring, right, it was
Yeah.
spring break, so maybe they need to change, but anyway.
And that was one thing we discussed, because we were there the first day of that. That was the day we had the meeting on the 19th. And so the team, some of us went and we were able to participate and plan and work together. And day 2 was their big robotics competition.
Right.
But one thing we talked to them about, and we emailed about this previously, timing, right? So when it's over spring break, somebody's gonna be impacted by that.
Right.
And we were one of the systems impacted.
Right.
Who wants to do that on spring break?
Right.
And that's just saying jokingly, but that is something that we're looking at as we create this plan and develop that. That is our goal, to make sure that our students are provided with opportunities that go way beyond even Hope County.
Right.
You know, and so.
I just want to throw that out.
Thank you.
I just have a question. Will all teachers be given the opportunity to have in-services for this particular?
So right now, we're starting with K-5. Our plan is definitely to support K-5 with any training. Is that what you're talking
For
about?
all teachers in K-5?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So I go in a math class, or language art class, social studies, whatever.
Everyone.
I should be seeing this,
Right.
yes.
Everyone. You know, one thing we talked about, and I forgot the example that he used, but how you can take a literacy lesson and incorporate STEM into that by using a text, right? And so there's so many different ways to incorporate STEM, literacy, math, science. And so our goal is to make sure everyone, regardless, because guess what? They're certified in everything, right? So regardless of what subject they're currently teaching, we want to make sure they're equipped to affect students each and every day.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Ms.
you.
Hammond.
Thank you.
And information item D is our monthly financial report. So if we have any questions, we can direct those to our Chief Finance Officer, Ms. Wanda Chavis.
Do we have any questions, any of you, that you needed to direct to our finance officer? If none, next, on our agenda, we have a closed session. And at this time, maybe get a motion to move into our closed session.
Madam Chair, I move that we go into closed session to enter into closed session in North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11 to prevent the disclosure of confidential personnel matters and consider matters relating to initial employment of individual employees and to consult with the board attorney to preserve the attorney-client's privilege.
Maybe get a second?
Second.
Been moved and properly second that we go into closed session for the following reasons given. Are there any questions? If none, all in favor, let me know by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Ayes have it. So we're in closed session now for properly.